G'day guys, and welcome to the Chechos and Patron live stream. My name's Rocco and I'm the head bartender of Penrith. And this is a little thing that we've been putting together for a while now to help break down some of that isolation boredom that you might have been feeling up until today. You might notice that I'm not in our natural habitat of the Chechos bar, but rather in an undisclosed location where I'll be filming for your personal enjoyment. Today's class will be running for about 30 minutes and we'll be breaking down our two most popular cocktails, the Chechos Margarita and the Spicy Señorita. Essentially, I'll be going through all the tools that you'll need. And for anyone who bought the boxes today, thank you so much. Thank everyone for supporting Chechos for as long as I have during this tumultuous period. And I really hope that I can help bring some enjoyment to your night. We're going to keep today's class nice and short because I do know we have the 7:30 Panthers game tonight. So, let me know where you guys are coming from and leave it down into the comments. So I do see we have a few new people coming in. So just for anyone new, my name's Rocco and the head bartender of Chechos. We're breaking down a couple of our more popular cocktails. I want to start with saying Happy World Tequila Day. And to that, anyone who's playing along with us, pour yourself a little shot to kind of ease the tension and get some of those creative juices flowing. So cheers to everyone playing at home. So Patron Silver is a fantastic tequila. You're going to get little notes of pineapple and some citrus, a little bit of that herbaceous notes as well. So for those of you who don't really know, there's three main classes of tequila. You've got our Blanco, which is an unaged, Reposado, which is aged for about 6 months, then your Añejo, which is aged closer to about 12 months. You'll be able to tell the difference depending on the color of it, so it will be becoming a darker amber as it stays in those barrels longer. World Tequila Day is really cool. It's kind of celebrated around the world between the 24th and 30th of July. Started in about the 1600s when the then King of Spain initiated the first official tequila license to be bought and distributed. And since then it's really taken off as a bit of a big day for tequila drinkers everywhere. So our first cocktail will be the Chechos Margarita, and a bit of a breakdown of what Margarita actually came from and how it came to be. According to David Wonderich, a cocktail historian, it started in about the late 1800s cocktail. It was based off a cocktail called the Daisy, which uses a brandy or cognac with very similar ingredients to what the Margarita we have today. When that Daisy cocktail made its way to Mexico, the spirit was replaced with the national spirit of tequila, and hence the Margarita was born. There's a little bit of a misconception of where the Margarita came from. It's more misconception of where the Margarita came from. A lot of people tend to think that it came from some sort of famous actress or dancer that stayed in a hotel. There might be a little bit of legs to this idea, but the more conformed idea of where the Margarita came from was this Daisy. Margarita actually just means daisy in Spanish. It's a direct translation. So tequila, I feel like a lot of people are a little bit scared of tequila. It's one of those drinks where it's easy to have a really big night and wake up hungover in the morning, right? This sort of stems from some really bad tequilas out there. I would always recommend going with a 100% blue agave, just like the Patron Silver we have today. Some people really enjoy having some salt and lime with it. There's no issue with that at all. That sort of stems from getting rid of that impurity flavors from the bad tequilas. But even with great tequilas, it can be used as a great palate cleanser. So let's all get started with our Chechos Margarita. You're gonna wanna start with 45 mils of your Patron Silver. So for those of you who got the Chechos Margarita box, your jigger might be looking a little bit different to what mine is, right? So mine's probably a bit bigger. You wanna use the big side, which is 30 mils, and pour that in, and then use your smaller side, which is 15 mils, to pour that right back in with it. The classic Margarita recipe calls for 60 mils of tequila, 30 mils of lime juice, and 15 mils of Cointreau. It doesn't really have any sugars added to it, so for those of you at home that didn't get the box, feel free to walk along with us using those specs. Alternatively, if you do have what we have here today, jump in with it. Next is some lime juice. So I'll be using fresh limes, and that's definitely best. I would always recommend, right? But for anyone who got the boxes, you'd have some pre-squeezed limes by us. You're gonna wanna pour 30 mils of that into it. If you're looking for some cool bar tools at home, you can definitely look on websites such as Amazon or go into Woolworths. You can get some hand squeezers for limes. You can get all your jiggers and fun tools like that. I might add a little bit more lime to mine because I think that was a bit of a dry one. Definitely always add to your personal taste, but like I said, the classic for what we're doing, our Chechos Marg, is 30 mils. Next, what we'll be using is an oleo saccharum. So oleo saccharum is essentially you get any citrus fruit, you take the skins off of it and you put it in essentially a bucket of sugar and sit it there overnight. That sugar is going to extract all the natural oils in the citrus and turn it into this oily sugar syrup. It's going to have really cool natural flavor, natural sweetness and sourness to it. Almost reminiscent of an old-fashioned lime cordial. So this did stem to a time before refrigeration existed, where people wanted to store their limes for the periods when it doesn't grow because we needed citrus. So this is how they got their vitamin C fix during the periods where they couldn't grow it. So you're gonna add 15 mils of this, but in saying that, add to your personal taste. You wanna, if you like something sweeter, add more. If you want something drier, add little to none at all. So for those of you who just jumped on, we are breaking down the Chechos Margarita. So far we've chucked in 45 mils of our Patron Silver, 30 mils of freshly squeezed lime juice, and 15 mils of oleo saccharum. Our last ingredient is an orange liqueur. So the Chechos Margarita calls for 15 mils of Cointreau, but feel free to experiment with other things such as a dry curacao or even triple sec if you want something extra sweet. So we're gonna chuck 15 mils of this in. And you will have everything you need in there. So get your bigger shaker and fill it with ice. My bucket is a bit lower off screen, sorry. And give it a little smack on, right? So you wanna make sure it's tightly squeezed on so nothing really falls out. There have been instances where it's flown off during service and I've whacked an unsuspecting customer in the face with a bunch of lime juice. And then you're gonna wanna shake it really hard, almost like you hate it. So once your shaker starts getting all frosty, just like this, sit it down, and with a lime that you might have cut already, if not, cut now, you're gonna wanna rim about half the glass just to get it a little bit wet. And with some salt, fill a plate up just like so, and just dunk it in. This is how you get your salt rim. The reason why we salt rim is really similar to why cooks put salt in their food. It's a flavor enhancer. You don't want to get salt in the drink, just something to touch your lips on. And then fill your glass up with some ice. And crack your shaker. So the best way I always find to crack my shaker is you have a part that's touching both shakers. Split your hands up, 2 fingers at the bottom and 2 fingers at the top, and just hit it until it makes a nice little snap. Squeeze at both ends and lift up. Anyone who got our Chechos cocktail box, you'll have your Hawthorne strainer as so. Put it on top so you don't get any big chunks of ice going through your drink, and just pour it out nicely. And let's just make it a little bit more presentable for service. Cut a little lime wheel as so. Cut a slit through it so you can slide your lime right over your glass. And then you have the Chechos Margarita. Give it a sip, give yourself a pat on the back for making it. You've done well. Oh, fantastic. It's so refreshing. This is the kind of drink that you can drink, you know, a sunset, lying out over your porch, just enjoying a really pleasant day. In saying that, for those during lockdown, you can definitely have it during lunch, even breakfast I'd recommend. It's one of those cocktails that's good for any time of the day. So for those in the comments at home, let us know if you've been getting some Chechos takeaway thus far. Let us know what you've been enjoying as well as what you've missed from the last menu. Maybe there's some things that you really want us to put on takeaway that's been taken off during our general service. So, lost my voice. Yeah, so just send a comment down and we'll send our professional head chef Salvatore to have a personal look through all of it and see what he can do about making some of your personal favorites come back to life during this takeaway period. So, enjoy that, drink it for a little bit. Just in the meantime, maybe dump out the ice that's in your shaker into something. Me personally, I'm just throwing it right onto the floor. Someone else will clean up after me, which is the great thing of having a set like this. You're gonna wanna kind of neaten yourself up a bit. I'm not working with a lot of space, so I like to work relatively clean. And then get yourself a nice fresh glass. So the next thing we're gonna be doing is the Spicy Señorita. So this is one of those slightly sweeter drinks that I think really goes well on a slightly colder evening, such as this one. So, same thing, we're starting with Patron Silver. I don't need to tell you how great this is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a really smooth, easygoing tequila. For any tequila-based cocktail, you want a relatively premium tequila. The reason is that's gonna be a majority of your flavor. So you don't want to be drinking something terrible, and that's why I really think Patron Silver is one of those top-notch tequila brands that's bang for your buck and still really top quality, no matter where you go. So you're gonna get your jigger, pour yourself 30 mils of tequila. That's what we'll be doing in the little one. In the meantime, get your big shaker back and cut some jalapeno. So this adds a little bit of heat and zest back into your drink. Obviously, you cut the amount that you're kind of able to handle with heat tolerance. I myself am about a mid-range, so if you're sort of like me, cut yourself similar to a $1 coin, maybe even double the thickness, and you'll be able to get a nice amount of heat and chuck it in. If you really want to extract more heat from it, get yourself something to muddle with and crush it in there. It's going to extract heaps more heat from it. Alternatively, you can always add more. So get our little one back, put all this away, and same thing, get some limes. Fresh limes are best. As they sit, they kind of tend to go a little bit too sour and bitter. We're going to be doing 20 mils of lime juice. Thank you to the cleanup crew for sorting this mess out later. And then we'll get our orange liqueur. Again, I like Cointreau. It's a good balance between sweet and dry. If you do want something extra sweet, you could always add more sugar to it, or use something like triple sec. So about 10 mils. So for those of you who got the cocktail box through Chechos, yours will only be about 15 or 30 mil pouring. So get your little side of the jigger and just fill a bit below the top line. That will give you about 10 mils. Not exact science bartending. It's more so just what you really enjoy to drink, because that's the best drink you can make. Then we're gonna go to Aperol. So Aperol adds a little bit of fruitiness as well as a touch of sweetness. Again, another 10 mils. This is also gonna create a really beautiful red color. And then the next thing is some guava juice. So I didn't freshly squeeze guava juice for this. I pre-bought some guava nectar. We're gonna be adding 30 mils. The reason why is because sometimes when you're doing a home bar, you don't wanna have to go through the massive effort to just have a drink. There are shortcuts and there's no reason to not take them if it still makes your drink taste fantastic. The next thing we're gonna do is get our agave syrup. So for anyone at home trying to make it that didn't get the cocktail set, you can replace this with some sugar syrup. Easy way to make it is a liter of water and a kilogram of sugar, and it will be a 1-to-1 replacement. So for the agave, about 5 to 10 mils or just a nice spoonful. This is more of an eye test for everyone. So just to repeat the process of what we've done so far, we've been breaking down the Spicy Señorita. We've chucked in 30 mils of guava juice. The best one you can find will be perfect for it, or anyone that you can find. About 10 mils of Aperol, 10 to 15 mils of Cointreau, and then about 30 mils of Patron Silver. And then to add the bit of heat where the namesake comes from, spicy, we're gonna use some jalapenos, cut in about half a centimeter thick, about the size of a dollar coin thickness, about double that size actually, and add it all together. Then same thing as our first cocktail, we're gonna be adding some ice to this. So fill your strainer up with your jalapeno in it, pour your liquid over the top, give it a little smack down to make sure it is nice and sealed. You want to see your top shaker leaning a little bit towards you. Hold the little shaker towards you and the big shaker facing away. This will make sure that nothing comes flying out during the shaking process. And again, shake it as absolutely hard as you can. And then once all this is done, same thing for the salt rimming. We're going to be cutting a lime, wetting just half of the outside. We want to be able to give ourselves an option of if we don't want salt for that minute, and just dunk it in the salt. And then you get a relatively seamless salt rimming of your glass. Fill this glass up with some ice. And here we are. Crack your shakers. And use your strainer to make sure no nasty bits come out with it, unless you're into the nasty bits, but I can't imagine most of you wanting a mouthful of jalapeno while you're drinking your drink. And for those of you playing at home that want to pretty it up, cut yourself a little circle of jalapeno, give it a slit just like the lime, and sit it on over the top. You've got your Spicy Señorita. It's fantastic. Honestly, it's a good mix between sweetness and a little bit of that zesty sourness that limes can give you. If you want to make it sweeter, you absolutely can. Like I said, just add a bit more sugar syrup or agave or whatever you really have on your hands, that will work. So far what we've done today, we've broken down two of our most popular cocktails at Chechos, our Chechos Margarita and Spicy Señorita. Both of them great during the Chechos Margarita, particularly during a relatively warm spring or summer evening. And then the Spicy Señorita with that little bit of heat will be fantastic on a cold winter's evening, right? Got some salt in me. All right. And for those of you who just jumped on, because I have noticed there are a few more again, we've been breaking down these cocktails and we've been talking about what good tequila is. So a good tequila would always be 100% blue agave. That's what you're gonna be adding to all the margaritas that you ever make, honestly. So the one that I'm loving at the minute is a Patron Silver. Reason is it's really, really tasty, really crisp and easy to go down. Some nice fruity citrus notes with a little bit of undertone of some earthiness, right? And this is, you can pick it up quite literally at any good liquor store and you can drink it straight or with a cocktail, right? But for those of you who do want to drink it straight, I'd always recommend just nothing else with it. You can add the salt and lime if you really, really need it, but it's more of a palate cleanser. That sort of started when bad tequilas came on the market and we needed to get rid of some of those like terrible aftertastes, right? Whereas this doesn't need anything. Sometimes I wouldn't mind taking a bite of a fresh grapefruit with some chili on top or something like that, but just keep it really fun and fresh. So bartending at home isn't meant to be an exact science. It's meant to be the kind of drinks that you want, and there's no real rules to it. If you want to have something that's over the top sweet, you do that, and you find a way to make that. If you want something that's dry and full of as much alcohol as you can fit into a single glass, I am all for it. Don't let anyone ever tell you what a right and wrong drink is when you're at home. The best drink is always the drink that you like, and I stand by that even at work. So I really hope everyone's been enjoying this so far, and if you do have any suggestions of future masterclasses, whether it be for drinks or food, let us know in the comments below and we'll get right on to making that happen for you all. All right, so I hope everyone's enjoyed this evening today. From Chechos to everyone here, I really like to thank everyone who's ordered from us for their support. It's been amazing to think that there's been so many people genuinely caring about small businesses such as ourselves. And for anyone who does want to continue to support small businesses, I very much recommend you finding other small places in Penrith such as ourselves. It's one of those weird times in hospitality where we're never quite certain where the future is, but we're just thankful and lucky that we do have dedicated patrons such as yourself. I don't want to keep you too long because I do know the Panthers game will be starting relatively soon. So I'll let you guys go soon. And I do see there is a big request for a hair flick. So thank you all so much for this evening, and I hope you all have a good night. Take care and be safe.